Now you're gonna first need to figure out if it's your sensors or if it's your blind spot module that should be around here. So I'm under the car, and this is your harness for your sensors and your blind spot system. It connects from about right here, and then there's also way up there. Yeah, a little plastic up there. Kind of can see it. That's where their blind spot module is. And then that right there is what your sensor looks like. To pull it out, it's just the top and then the bottom clip, and then you just kind of pull and you'll be fine. One way you can figure out if they're broken or not, you could put your car in reverse, and then you could listen to these sensors, and they kind of sound like a clock ticking. And if they're ticking, that means they're working. And if they're not, then they're probably broken. You need to replace them. If they're all ticking, then it might be your blind spot system, which is located up there, which I will be taking out and showing. So I pulled out the blind spot module. There's two of them, and this is what mine looks like. I looked around it, and the blind spot module looked fine, so yeah. Your blind spot module might look different. It might have, if it's bad, you probably this like white plastic stuff might be peeling off. So I took off the blind spot module, and easiest way to take it off is there's these little clips on the side. Just kind of push on them like this, and then the same thing on the other side, and you have to pull while pushing on these to pull off the blind spot system, which I have right here. And here I've taken out the blind spot system, and as you can see, the pins, they look pretty clean, so I don't think it's the problem with the blind spot system. One thing I would do is get brake cleaner and some of these cleaning ear tip things, and just kind of rub it around in there to clean off if you have any corrosion or some rust in there, to get a better connection. There's also this cable that goes into the car and is also part of your wiring system for the blind spot module. You just basically press this pin, or the pin, and you just kind of pull out and it comes out. Here I pulled it off, and again, you want to check these pins, and I actually cleaned these recently, so they all look fine. But if yours were corroded, like I said, you would probably want to use some brake cleaner or help with the corrosion. And then if the wiring harness side is pretty bad, you could always just replace the wiring harness, like I did recently. It was only about 80 bucks for me. This is the driver's side, which is, I think, the hardest one to probably pull out. That's what the module looks like. This is the driver's side module. Again, they should be the same numbers. The 681, those should be the same numbers for you on both sides. Same thing, I took it off by using the two little side clips I told you about. This side is slightly harder because of the exhaust sticking out. One thing you could do is actually take off this whole bumper. It's not too hard, but I just didn't want to take it off. I'd rather do this because it's faster. If you don't hear it ticking from your sensors, all you gotta do is you gotta just press on this button right here. Just kind of press on it and you pull. They slide out pretty quickly. And then one flap up here, one flap, kind of push on them both. Like this, you just kind of pull it out like that, and it should come out. And there's a little rubber round piece. You want to make sure you don't want to lose that, because that, if you do, the sensor won't kind of fit in perfectly. Those two little holes, there should be a clip there, but it was missing for my van. But I just used zip ties. But come on. To take this clip off, you want to pull on that red tab right there, like I did already. You want to pull them apart. This is kind of pretty hard, so right behind the red pin, you want to press this button also on the back, and then you want to pull it off. Sorry for the camera quality, but that's kind of what it looks like on the one side to the wiring harness, and then the one that goes actually into the car. That's, again, those pins right there. You might want to clean those. Like, those don't look really clean off for me, so I'm gonna clean those real quick. What I'm using is this battery clean, and the air in this is gone, so I'm just using a Q-tip. I poked a hole. I'm gonna just kind of put the Q-tip in there to clean it with the pins. But if you do have the air still, you could just press or spray on the pins that I showed you up there. So I actually bought out some of this electric grease or dielectric grease, and I'm basically going to put them in all these like blind spot module systems and all the wiring end right there, and then the other wiring end over there, to keep it or make sure that there's no water goes into these connections. So this is what it looks like with the dielectric grease, and I used a Q-tip to kind of just move it around to get it all kind of even like. Then also these blind spot modules, make sure they do go into the original place. So this is from your left side, make sure it goes into the left. I have switched them around, didn't do anything, but I just want to make sure I just kind of put it back where it used to be. I just got a Sharpie and put a letter R for this one. So this is my right one, and then this is my left one. So I just installed my passenger's blind spot module, and then add the dielectric grease. One way you could also keep from wire coming out from here or coming into here is you grab some electrical tape, which I had, but I just kind of removed it for this video. And then you could maybe even put some electric grease on the outside right here to ensure water doesn't really come in from here. And you could also put it on the kind of like the little edge up here, make sure water doesn't enter, because this isn't really fully like waterproof, these systems. So there you go, I put in my passenger side blind spot module up there, and there's really a certain way that you have to put it in. So easiest way I kind of remember is the black side right there, because that clip right there only actually can fit in right there. And then I'm gonna put some dielectric grease in there. Again, sorry for the bad quality, but I also did put some dielectric grease on the end in here, and then up in there too. After you're done putting in this clip, you want to make sure that red pin goes back. You slide it forward like I did right here, so this doesn't come apart. And then also those two holes, there should be a clip, and this would kind of be hidden behind here. It would slide in like this, and you kind of slide it out to pull it out. But for this instance, I don't have it, so I'm just going to use some zip ties. I'm going to zip tie it using those holes so it kind of stays up there. And you want to make sure, again, that does stay up there because you are near the exhaust. Same thing with the blind spot module up there. You want to make sure it's nice and secure. Same thing with all this wiring harness. You want to make sure it's not touching or too close to the exhaust. If you are struggling with the exhaust being in the way, you can actually slightly move it. It won't really do anything, but make sure you don't move it too hard, or else you'll get it off the hangers, which are located right here. So you see how I'm moving it? It'll be okay, nothing's gonna break. Just gotta make sure you don't get it off the hanger. Same thing with this again, you wanna make sure it goes the way facing, so this black one, to get it up in the holder up there. So that's what it looks like, the module inside, and then there's that really thick, that little wire right there. You want to be careful that you don't ruin it, because I'm not sure what that is, but you probably don't want extra problems, so just make sure you don't cut that or break that wire. It's pretty thick, so nothing really should happen, but yeah. Then like I said, you could also put some electrical tape. You see those exposed wires from the module? Oh, and then also dielectric grease on the tip where it connects to the module. But again, I don't have some electrical tape with me, but I will do it later. Like I said, I also put some dielectric grease in there, and then I put it on the wiring harness and also here. You'll know when this is fully attached, you'll kind of hear it click, and then same thing on the other side. And again, I don't have the attachment, but this would go up in here. I'm just going to use zip ties to keep it up there. This side isn't that scary if you kind of leave it hanging, but again, you probably should hide it. And I would also probably put some electrical tape around here to make sure no water comes in. You know, this exposed wire end right here. Okay, so this is the first startup after I put dielectric grease on everything. I would probably wait maybe 5 seconds, and if no codes pop up, then you should be fine. Just to check, you could also put it in reverse. So, telling me I have stuff in the back, warning object detected. And then if you do want to check your triangles or your blind spot system, you could actually take it for a drive, and I believe in kilometers, it is about 50 kilometers for the system to actually work, or it's about 80 miles, I believe it is, for it to work. And one way you could check is you just drive by a car that is going the same direction as you, and these triangles should light up. And if you do see the car, you could quickly turn on your left or right blinker, and it should start beeping. And if it does beep, then that means the system is working. And also, if you do start up your car, if it doesn't work, it should say blind spot system, like not working, or turn off, or service blind spot system. And then if that is your blind spot system, again, you want to make sure it's you want to look at your modules down here on like the sides, like I showed you. But if it is your park assist, you want to check for these sensors. Like I said, if you put in reverse, I prefer you should probably put some chocks and put your parking brake on, and then or even have someone put in reverse and put their foot on the brake, and then just put your ear really close up to these, and they kind of sound like a ticking clock. And if they are all ticking, then that means it's working. So I did have one that wasn't ticking. As you can see, the paint job isn't really good, but I replaced this one. And if you look at I think they're Bosch, and if you go to AutoZone or something, you could buy the exact same one that Mopart sells for cheaper. It's literally the exact same one. They have the exact same part number. You want to take off your bolts, you gotta open your trunk. There's 2 bolts right here. You take off your light, and then there's bolts here, I believe. There's also some clips on the side over here, and then there's also some clips down here, kind of. You could do that, but again, like I said, it's easier to do without it, and you could just take off these modules. But if you are having a hard time in it, check my blind spot system. Get over some bumpy roads to make sure if something is wrong. I'd rather assist is, again, I am behind something, and if I let it go a little, there you go, it's starting to beep, so that's working. And then you could also park behind the car to make sure both of your sensors, so mine are on the left side right now working, but not my right ones, it's telling me at least. But if you want to make sure that both of them are working, I just would go park up near a car and make sure it works. So here I am backing up, so both of my systems are working. If I do keep on slowly backing up, there you go. As it starting to beep, that's telling me I'm getting really close, so that means my park assist is working.